The Pathfinder was not a big ship. It was small, built for science work, not for war. Captain Aaron Morgan stood on the bridge and looked at the planet below. 442 was red and rocky, with dust storms that covered half the surface. It looked dead. It probably was dead, but the sensors said something was down there worth finding. Aaron was a human from Earth. He had dark hair and the kind of face that showed when he was thinking hard. Right now, he was thinking very hard. His crew was good. Dr. Lisa Washington was the best scientist on the ship. She knew more about alien biology than anyone in the human fleet. Cole was his chief engineer, could fix anything. The rest of the crew was small but strong, 12 people total, that was all. The problem was the coalition. The Galactic Coalition had 7 species. 7 different aliens who had decided to work together. Humans were the members. They had only joined 5 years ago. The other species did not think humans were very important. They let humans join because humans had something to trade. But they did not respect humans, not really. Today they had sent a joint exploration team. The coalition wanted to know what was on. The collective had a research station here 3,000 years ago. The had disappeared. No one knew why. The coalition wanted to find out. Aaron sent down a landing team. Lisa went with them. So did 2 other crew members, stayed on the ship to watch the systems. Aaron watched from the bridge as the landing craft touched down on the red dust. The radio came alive. Lisa's voice was clear and calm. "We have visual on the station. It is mostly intact. The sandstorms have covered most of it, but the structure is still standing. We are going in." Aaron waited. The waiting was always the hard part. 10 minutes passed, 20 minutes. Then Lisa's voice came through again, but now it was different. She was excited, but there was also fear in her voice. "Aaron, we found something. We found that there is a here alive in cryogenic stasis. She is still alive." Aaron stood up from his chair. This was impossible. They had been gone for 3,000 years. They were a myth, a story, a dead species from ancient history, and now there was one here, alive. "What is her condition?" Aaron asked. "Very bad," Lisa said. "The cryogenic system is failing. We need to get her into proper medical care. Now, if we wait, she will die. We need the medical bay on the ship." Aaron made his decision. Bring her up. Emergency protocols, move fast. The landing team was lifting off when the radio channels filled with noise. Other voices, angry voices, coalition captains. They were all talking at once, but the message was the same. Captain of the was first. They were tall and green and made of something that looked like crystal. They were cold. They never wanted to help anyone. His voice was hard and final. "Negative, you will not bring that aboard. We do not know what she is. She could be a weapon. She could be diseased. We will not risk coalition lives for a dead species." Then Captain of the Synth spoke. The Synth were machines that had become alive. They thought in numbers and logic. His voice had no feeling in it at all. "The mission parameters do not include rescue operations for unknown species. They are extinct. This changes nothing. You will leave the station and depart from this location." Aaron heard all of them. All of them said the same thing. Bring no one back. Leave do not risk the mission. Do not risk the coalition. Aaron felt something cold move through his chest, but he also felt something else, something stronger. "Lisa, keep that woman alive," he said. "Get her to the medical bay. I do not care what the coalition says." There was a short silence. Then Lisa said, "Understood, Captain." The coalition's radio channels went crazy. They accused Aaron of breaking the rules. They said he was putting the mission in danger. Captain said they would report him to the coalition high command. They would take his license to explore. They would ban the Pathfinder from coalition space. Aaron did not answer them. He watched as the landing craft came up from the planet. It docked with the Pathfinder, had the medical bay ready. Lisa and the team carried the woman inside. She was tall and blue with skin that looked like it had silver lines running through it. She looked dead, but Aaron could see her chest moving. She was breathing. Lisa worked on her for 3 hours. The cryogenic system had kept her alive, but barely. Her cells were damaged. Her organs were failing. Lisa used every tool in the medical bay. She used human medicine and the alien medicine that the coalition had shared. She used techniques no human doctor had ever used before. Finally, Lisa came to Aaron. She was tired. Her hands were shaking from working so hard. "She is stable," Lisa said. "But she will wake up angry. She will wake up confused. And Aaron, something is wrong with the coalition's behavior. They are being very strange about this." Before Aaron could answer, his voice came through the ship's radio. "Was on the bridge. His voice was scared. "Captain, we have a problem, a big problem. The warships. They are coming. They just came out of space fold. There are at least 30 of them, and they are heading right for us." Aaron's heart went cold. The coalition captains had known. That was why they wanted the woman left behind. Not because they wanted her to die, but because her people were coming, and they did not want to fight them. The collective had been gone for 3,000 years, but they were not dead. They were still out there, and they were coming. And the coalition had left the Pathfinder alone on the planet below. Aaron hit the communication button. "All crew to battle stations, get the ship ready to fight, and tell to start the engines, we might have to run." The radio came alive with coalition voices telling him to surrender the woman, to leave the planet, to save himself. Aaron did not listen to them. He looked at the woman lying in the medical bay. She had been abandoned. The medical bay was warm and filled with the sound of machines. Machines that went beep and beeped and hissed. The woman lay on the table. Her skin was the color of the ocean at night. Silver lines ran across her body like rivers. Dr. Lisa Washington watched every number on every screen. One small change meant death. Lisa had worked in emergency rooms. She had treated humans who had been burned and broken. She had brought people back from the edge of death many times, but this was different. This was an alien, a species she had only read about in old history texts. They had been gone so long that most people thought they were just a story, a myth, an old legend. But Lisa's hands knew what to do. A body was a body. It needed oxygen. It needed blood to pump. It needed the brain to work. The details were different. The heart beat in a different way. Her blood was thicker. Her lungs processed oxygen differently, but the goal was the same: keep her alive. On the bridge, Aaron watched the screens. 30 warships were getting closer. They were big, very big, much bigger than the Pathfinder. Each one could destroy his ship in seconds. The coalition fleet had already moved away from 442. They had left just like that. No goodbye, no help, no support. They were gone. His voice came through the radio. He was in engineering. He was young, only 28 years old. But he was the best engineer Aaron had ever seen. "Captain, I can get us maybe 60% power. The engines need time to heat up. The shields need time to charge. We cannot run. We cannot fight. We can only buy time." 50 seconds until the first ship entered the planet's gravity well. Aaron had to make a choice. The smart choice was to run, to leave the planet and hope that humanity's speed could save them. The smart choice was to leave the woman behind. But Aaron thought about Lisa in the medical bay. She was working as hard as she could to save this woman's life. The woman had done nothing to anyone. She had just woken up after 3,000 years. She had not asked for help, but she was getting it anyway. Aaron opened a communication channel. "All coalition vessels, this is Captain Aaron Morgan of the Pathfinder. I am not leaving this position. I am not abandoning this rescue. If you want to help, help now. If you want to leave, then leave. I will not stop you." The radio went silent, then Captain spoke. His voice was cold and final. "You are a fool, human. You are throwing away your life and your crew for nothing. We will report this to the High Command. Your species will never be trusted again." "Then that is the price," Aaron said, "and I will pay it." One by one, the coalition ships jumped away. They went into space fold. They left. The Pathfinder was alone now. His voice was shaking. "Captain, the engines are not going to be ready in time. We are trapped." Aaron sat in his chair. He was not afraid. He was very calm. He had spent his whole life being the calm one, the one who made the hard choice, the one who did not run. "Then we do not run," Aaron said. "We stand, we hold the line, we show them what humans are made of." He opened a ship-wide channel. "All hands, listen to me. We have warships approaching. We know that we cannot beat them in a fight, but we are not fighting. We are protecting. There is a woman in our medical bay. Her name is, we do not know her. We have never met her. But we saved her life, and we will not throw that away now. Every person on this ship, you have the choice to go to the escape pods. You can leave. I will not stop you. You can save your lives, but I am staying. And I am protecting that woman who is with me." The radio went quiet. Then one voice came through. Then another. Then another. The entire crew answered. All 12 people. All volunteers. All staying. "Good," Aaron said. "Get those shields up. Lisa, how much longer?" Lisa's voice came from the medical bay. She was still working, still focused. 30 more minutes. 30 minutes and she will have the best chance I can give her." The first ship entered the gravity well. It was massive. It was at least 10 times bigger than the Pathfinder. It had weapons that could destroy cities, but it did not fire. Not yet. Aaron opened a radio channel to the approaching ship. "This is Captain Aaron Morgan of the Pathfinder. I am not your enemy. I am here to help one of your people. I am here to save her life. That is all." There was no answer. The ship just kept coming. It got closer and closer. The Pathfinder's screens showed every detail. The weapons systems, the shields, the soldiers inside waiting to attack. Then Aaron remembered something. Lisa had found data in the station's computer. Old data. The station had a defense system. It was ancient. It had not been used in 3,000 years. It was probably broken, but it might work. Aaron opened a channel to engineering. "I need you in the station's computer system. Can you get in through the network?" Was already thinking about this. "Maybe. The signal is weak, but I can try. What do you want me to do?" "Wake up the defense system," Aaron said. "Get those shields online now." Worked fast. His hands moved across his console. He was not a young man anymore, but he was still the best. The data started flowing. The station's systems came alive. It had been asleep for 3,000 years, but it was still there, still waiting, still ready to fight. The planet's surface lit up. Old defense systems activated. They were damaged. Many of them did not work, but some of them did. And when they did, they fired, not at the ships, but in front of them, a barrier, an energy shield that blocked the way. The first ship stopped. It did not move, it did not attack, it just waited. In the medical bay, Lisa looked at her patient. The woman's eyes were starting to move. She was waking up. Lisa watched as the woman's fingers moved. She was waking up to a ship under attack. She was waking up to danger and confusion, but she was waking up alive. And outside, the ships waited, the fleet waited, and Aaron waited, and all 12 crew members of the Pathfinder waited. No one knew what would happen next. But they all knew one thing: they would not run, they would not abandon her. No matter what came next, the landing craft came down in waves. They were armored, they were built for war. Soldiers poured out. They wore dark suits that reflected light like oil on water. They carried weapons that glowed. The soldiers moved like a machine. No feelings, no mercy, just the job. Commander Vex led them. He was tall and blue like the woman in the medical bay, but his skin was darker, almost black. His eyes were cold. He had killed more enemies than most soldiers. He had won battles that seemed impossible. He was the best military leader in the collective. Vex did not come to rescue. Vex came to take what belonged to and if humans got in the way, he would remove them. His voice was loud on the radio. It was hard. It was like stones hitting stone. "This is Commander Vex of the collective. You are holding one of our people. You will release her now. You will power down your weapons. You will surrender. If you do not do this, we will kill you all." Aaron answered quickly. "We have her. She is safe. She is in our medical bay. She was in bad condition when we found her. She is being treated. We mean no harm." Vex did not answer. His soldiers moved forward. They were coming to take the woman by force. They did not care what state she was in. They did not care about the humans. The humans were nothing. The humans were in the way. Aaron felt the Pathfinder shake. Vex's soldiers had started attacking. Their weapons hit the ship's shields. The shields were not very strong. The Pathfinder was built for science, not war. It could not take much more. "Activate everything in the station," Aaron said. "Everything now." The station woke up. The old technology came online. It was damaged, but it worked. The energy barriers got stronger. They got brighter. And then they fired not just barriers anymore. Weapons, ancient weapons, 3,000 years old, but still deadly. The soldiers had to stop their attack. They had to take cover. The weapons were too powerful. Even with their armor, they could not stand against them. They had expected to find an old station with nothing working. They had expected to find weak humans with no way to fight. They had not expected this. Vex was angry, but Vex was also smart. He knew when to change his plan. He opened a radio channel, but not to Aaron. He opened a channel to the station, the old station. He spoke in the language. It was a language that sounded like wind and music mixed together. Inside the medical bay, the woman's eyes opened. She had been asleep for 3,000 years. She had no memory of the last 3,000 years, but her body remembered. Her mind remembered. She remembered her name. She remembered her training. She remembered that she was a warrior, a fighter, a protector. She woke to the sound of lasers. She woke to the sound of her own language. She woke to pain in every part of her body. But mostly she woke to confusion. Where was she? What had happened? Why was she alive? A human woman was standing over her. A woman with dark skin and kind eyes. The woman was speaking but did not understand the words. The woman was speaking human language, did not know human language. But Lisa understood what the woman needed. Lisa helped her sit up. The medical machines followed every movement. They made sure did not hurt herself more. Looked around, she saw machines, she saw lights. She saw things she did not understand. But then her eyes found the window. Through the window, she could see the planet, she could see soldiers. She could see the station, her station, the old research station where she had worked 3,000 years ago. Everything came back. She had been on the station. They were working on something secret, something important. Then there was an accident, an explosion. She remembered running to the cryogenic chamber. She remembered setting it for 3,000 years. She remembered hoping that someone would find her, someone who could help. And someone had. But not someone from her own people. Humans had found her, weak, strange, small humans. Humans had saved her life. Then heard her own language. She heard Vex. She heard him saying that he was taking her back, that she did not belong with humans. Tried to stand up, but her body would not obey. She had been asleep for too long. Her muscles were weak. Lisa helped her. The human woman put an arm around her. The human woman was trying to keep her safe. Looked at this human woman, this stranger, this weak, small creature from a world they barely knew, and saw something in her eyes. She saw care, she saw protection, she saw something that Vex did not have, something that soldiers did not have, compassion. Took the radio in shaking hands. She opened the channel to Commander Vex. She spoke in. Her voice was weak, but it was clear. Vex, I am, but I order you to stand down. The attack stopped. All the soldiers stopped. They waited. They would obey. She was high rank. She was a commander herself. She had the right to give orders. But Vex was confused. What are you saying? These humans took you. We must destroy them. We must destroy this ship. No, said, her voice was getting stronger. Listen to me. I was in cryogenic sleep. I was dying. The humans found me. The humans could have left me. They could have taken what they wanted and left me to die. But they did not. They saved me. They risked their own lives to save me, a soldier, an enemy they had never met. Vex was silent. This did not make sense to him. This was not how war worked. This was not how the world worked. But kept talking. She told Vex that the humans had stayed when the coalition left. She told him that the humans had faced the fleet and did not run. She told him that the humans had activated the defense systems to protect her, not to kill, to protect. Why would they do this? Vex asked. His voice was confused. He was a soldier. He understood killing. He understood conquest. He did not understand sacrifice. Because, said, and she looked at the human woman who had saved her, because that is what humans do. They protect each other. They save each other, even when it costs them everything. Then there was a sound, a loud sound. It was Aaron. Aaron was coming down to the medical bay. He was running. He was in pain. His uniform was torn. There was blood on his shoulder. He ran too. He did not care about his wounds. He just wanted to make sure she was alive. He wanted to make sure she was safe. She saw this human leader who had ordered the defense system activated. This human who had risked everything for her. This human was hurt. This human was bleeding, and he did not care. He only cared that she was alive. Something changed in his mind, something that 3,000 years of military training had never taught her. She understood in that moment what it meant to be valued, not because of rank, not because of strength, but because someone saw your life as worth saving. Aaron sat in the communication center. His shoulder was bandaged. Lisa had cleaned the wound. She said it would hurt for weeks, but he would be fine. Aaron did not care about pain. He cared about what came next. Stood beside him. She was still weak. She could barely stand, but she was standing. Her strength was coming back. Every hour she looked better. Every hour she looked more alive. Commander Vex was in the station with his soldiers. They were not enemies anymore. They were not friends either, but they were not enemies. That was enough for now. Came in. He had been working for 16 hours straight. He had repaired the communication systems. He had found the old technology. He had made it work with human technology. It was not perfect, but it was good enough. We can send a message, said. We can send it to everyone, every species, every planet, every ship in the galaxy. Are you sure you want to do this? Aaron nodded. Yes, we are sure. Put her hand on Aaron's shoulder. I will help you. You saved my life. Now I will help you save your own life. So they started to write. Aaron wrote in simple words, English words, but translated. She put in words that every species would understand. She explained what had happened. She explained the choice that Aaron had made. They included video. Video of the Pathfinder crew working. Video of Lisa saving life. Video of fixing the defense systems. Video of Aaron ordering everyone to stay even when they could have run. They included a message from Aaron. It was not a long message. It was not a fancy message. It was just the truth. My name is Aaron Morgan. I am human. 3,000 years ago, they left the galaxy. They disappeared. We did not know why. We did not know if they would come back. Today, we found one of them. A woman named. She was dying. We saved her, and today the collective came to take her back. We did not run. We did not hide. We stood and we protected her. Because that is what humans do. We protect each other. We do not abandon each other. We do not leave people behind. Even when it is hard, even when it is dangerous, even when the whole galaxy tells us to run, we do not run. We stay. We fight. We save each other. He took a breath and kept going. The Coalition left us alone on this planet. They left us to die. They said that one was not worth the risk. They said that helping someone was illogical. They said that we should let her die, but we did not let her die because we are human. And humans believe that every life has value. We believe that every life is worth saving, even if no one else agrees. Even if the whole galaxy thinks we are wrong, we believe it. The message ended with speaking. She spoke in her own language, but the translation appeared below her words. I am of for 3,000 years my people were gone from this galaxy. When I woke up in danger. I woke up dying, and humans saved me. Humans who did not know me, humans who did not owe me anything, humans who risked their own lives. I have been trained as a warrior. I have been trained to kill. I have been trained to conquer, but I have never been trained to understand love. I have never been trained to understand sacrifice until now. These humans taught me. They taught me that true strength is not in weapons. True strength is in the will to save someone else, even when you have nothing, even when you have no one to back you up, even when you are alone. That is human strength, and that is why I will stand with them. That is why the collective will stand with them. They sent the message out. It went to every communication channel in the galaxy. It went to every species. It went to every government. It went to the Coalition. The response was immediate. The Coalition governments were angry. They sent orders to Aaron. Leave the station. Abandon, return to human space. Do not talk about this anymore. If you do not obey, we will ban humanity from the Coalition forever. But other messages came too. Messages from small planets. Messages from merchant ships. Messages from scientists. Messages from regular people who had seen the video and understood what had happened. They were saying that humans were right. They were saying that the Coalition was wrong. They were saying that humans had done something good and brave. The High Council sent a message. It was addressed to Aaron. The message was simple. You have shown the collective something we had forgotten. You have shown us what it means to be honorable, what it means to sacrifice, what it means to be strong. The collective will not forget this. The collective will stand with humanity. That changed everything. Suddenly, the Coalition was not so strong anymore. The synth started asking questions. The started asking questions. The started asking questions. If humans could show such honor, could they trust their own leaders? Could they trust the Coalition? Ships started leaving the Coalition. First 1, then 3, then 10. Species that had been in the Coalition for thousands of years started to leave. They said they were tired of abandoning people. They said they wanted to be part of something better, something more like what humans had shown them. The Coalition was breaking apart, not from war, but from a simple choice made by one captain and one crew. Aaron watched the messages come in, was getting them all. He was reading them. He was translating them. He was showing Aaron that the whole galaxy was watching. The whole galaxy was paying attention. Sat beside Aaron. Her strength was coming back. She was standing up straight now. Her eyes were clear. You did this with words, she said. You did not use weapons. You used truth. The would have used 3 days had passed. The Pathfinder was safe now. The fleet protected them. Ships from other species had arrived to show support. The galaxy had changed, but Aaron was not celebrating. He was in the medical bay. He was lying in a hospital bed, and Lisa was worried. She had thought his wound was simple. A laser had cut through his shoulder. It should have healed in a few weeks, but something was wrong. Something was very wrong. Lisa looked at the medical scanner. The readings did not make sense. The bleeding was not stopping. There was internal damage, something that she could not see, something that human medicine could not fix. She sat down next to Aaron. She took his hand. How long? Aaron asked. He knew from her face she did not have to say it, but he asked anyway. 2 weeks, Lisa said. Maybe 3. I am sorry, Aaron, I am so sorry. If you had not been fighting, if you had not been running, if you had not been protecting, you would not be here. Aaron squeezed her hand. I made the choice, I would make it again. But you are going to die, Lisa said. Her voice was hard. Because of one choice, because of one moment. No, Aaron said. I am going to die because I lived the way I wanted to live. I lived with honor. I lived knowing I did the right thing. That is not a bad death. That is a good death. Was there too? She was standing in the corner. She had been there for 2 days. She had not left. She had not slept. She just watched Aaron, and she said nothing. But when Aaron said those words, came forward, she knelt down beside his bed. She looked at his face. For 3,000 years she had been asleep. She had woken up to this. A human leader who had saved her and was now dying for it. No, she said, this is not how it ends. This is not how we honor him. She stood up. She went to Lisa. Your medical systems, said. They are small. They use old technology. They use only human knowledge, but I have knowledge. Technology is 3,000 years older than human technology. There is a medical center in the station, an old one, but it still works. If we can connect your medical systems to the systems, we can combine them. Human knowledge and knowledge, together. Lisa shook her head. That is impossible. The systems are too different. They work in different ways. They would cancel each other out. Humans said space travel was impossible, said. Humans said talking to aliens was impossible, but humans did both, because humans did not understand the word impossible. Let me try. Came from engineering, he knew technology. He had been studying the old station for days. He had been learning how it worked. And he was young enough to try something crazy. I can try, said. It might destroy both systems, it might kill Aaron, but I can try. So they started, worked with the engineers who came down from the ships. They connected cables. They brought machines. They created something that had never existed before, a mix of human medicine and medicine, a combination of 2 technologies that should never work together. But made it work. He connected the systems. The Pathfinder's medical bay came alive with new power, new capabilities, new understanding. The old technology started to communicate with the human technology. They started to translate each other. They started to work as one. Lisa, with help, started the procedure. It was not a normal surgery. It was not human surgery. It was not surgery. It was something new, something that had never been done before. Lisa's hands worked with precision. She used tools that humans had never used. She understood damage in a way that humans had never understood before. Guided her, she spoke instructions in. She explained what the old technology could see. She explained what the new combination could do. And Lisa listened. Lisa learned. Lisa healed. The surgery took 8 hours. Lisa's hands shook when it was done. She had done something impossible. She had combined human medicine with medicine, and it had worked. Aaron lived. When he woke up, Lisa was asleep in a chair beside him, was standing at the window, looking out at the planet below. Did it work? Aaron asked. Smiled. It was the first time he had seen her smile. It was a big smile. It was a real smile. It worked, she said. You are going to live. You are going to be fine. How long was I asleep? 2 days, said. You should rest more. Your body is still healing, but you will heal. You will live. Aaron looked at, he saw the lines on her face. She had not slept. She had not stopped watching him. She had made sure he lived. Thank you, he said. You saved me, said. I saved you, now we are even. But they both knew it was more than that. Something had changed. Something had connected them. They had risked everything for each other, and now they were bound, not just as allies, but as something stronger. Meanwhile, the galaxy was still reacting to their story. The coalition was falling apart. 5 more species left, then 10. They said they were tired of a government that abandoned people. They said they wanted to be part of something better, something more like what humans had shown them. New governments started to form, not old governments, new ones, governments based on honor, based on helping each other, based on the idea that every life had value. And humans were leading it. The species that had abandoned the Pathfinder were now the outsiders. They were the ones who had to explain themselves. They were the ones who had to defend their choice to run, and they could not do it. No words could explain why they had run when a human captain had stayed. No words could justify abandonment when a human crew had chosen to protect. News came that the coalition was breaking up officially. The 1,000-year alliance was ending. New alliances were forming. alliances that included humanity, alliances that included honor. Lisa woke up and saw Aaron watching her. She started to cry. She was so tired. She was so relieved. She had done the impossible. She had saved his life. Put her hand on both their shoulders. She looked at them with respect, with real respect. "This is what it means to be human," she said. "You take care of each other, you never give up. D5 years had passed. The galaxy was not the same galaxy anymore. Everything had changed." Aaron Morgan stood in front of a room full of reporters. They came from 20 different species. They came from every corner of the galaxy. They all wanted to hear the story. They all wanted to understand. His shoulder had scars, bad scars. They would never go away. Every day they reminded him of his choice. Every day they reminded him why he had made it. Lisa Washington was there too. She was no longer the captain's doctor. She was something bigger now. She was the chief doctor of the new Galactic Medical Alliance, an alliance that combined human medicine with technology from 7 other species. The medical systems that had saved Aaron's life were now being used everywhere. People who should have died were living. Children who should have been crippled were walking. Lisa's work had changed medicine forever. Cole had built something even bigger. He was now chief engineer of the first human research ship. It was a massive vessel. It was built with both human and technology. It could explore the galaxy like nothing had ever explored it before. It could fly for decades without stopping. It could go to places that were impossible to reach before. And it was named after the woman they had saved. Commander Vex had become Aaron's closest friend. It was strange. Strange that the man who had come to take by force had become a trusted ally, but Vex had learned something from Aaron. He had learned that strength was not just about weapons. Strength was about choices, about doing the right thing even when it was hard. The coalition was gone. The 1,000-year alliance was dead, but something better had taken its place. A new government, a new way of being together, the High Council of Unified Species. 7 species from the old coalition had joined, plus humans, plus the collective, plus 30 other species that had never been part of the coalition before. And they all said the same thing. They all said it was because of Aaron Morgan, because of his choice on 442, because of one captain who refused to abandon someone in need. But Aaron did not think of it that way. He did not think he had changed the galaxy. He thought he had just done what was right, and somehow the right choice had been enough. Stood beside him at the press conference. She was fully healed now. She was stronger than before. The combination of human and medicine had not just saved her life. It had made her better. It had made her whole. She was Aaron's partner now, not just a friend. A real partner. Together they were ambassadors to the unified galaxy. Together they traveled from planet to planet and told the story. They told people about the day when a ship was abandoned and a crew stayed anyway. A young student asked a question. He was maybe 20 years old. He had been born after the collective came back. He did not remember the war between species. He only knew peace. "Ambassador Morgan," the student said, "why did you stay? The logical choice was to run. The smart choice was to save your crew. Why did you choose something else?" Aaron thought about this. He had been asked this question 1,000 times, but he still thought about it. He still tried to find the right words. "Because," Aaron said, "every person is worth saving. Not because of what they have, not because of what they can do, just because they exist, just because they are alive, and that life has value. That was enough for me." The reporters were quiet. They understood. Not all of them had grown up knowing this. Not all species believed this, but they were learning. Spoke next. "In the collective, we believe in strength. We believe in power. We believe in winning. But this human taught us something we had forgotten. Strength is not the opposite of compassion. Strength and compassion are the same thing. It takes more strength to save a life than to destroy a life. It takes more strength to stand with someone than to stand alone." The press conference ended. Reporters asked for pictures. Reporters asked for signatures. Reporters wanted to hold on to this moment. They wanted to keep the story alive. That night, Aaron and walked through the capital city of the unified galaxy. It was on a neutral planet. It had been built in the last 5 years. It was made from the technology of every species. Every species had put something into the building. Every species had contributed. It was beautiful. They walked past a memorial, a statue of the Pathfinder, a statue of the small ship that had refused to run. The statue was made of stone and metal and something that glowed, something that no single species could have made, but together they made it. Carved into the base were the names of the 12 crew members, the 12 people who had stayed, the 12 people who had said no to abandonment, the 12 people who had changed the galaxy. "Do you ever regret it?" asked. Aaron looked at the statue. He thought about the moment he made the choice. He thought about the fear. He thought about the uncertainty. He thought about not knowing if they would live or die. "No," he said, "never, because I did what was right, and that is worth everything." Smiled, "They have a saying, it is very old. It means true strength is standing alone when needed. You did that. You stood alone when the galaxy needed someone to stand." "I was not alone," Aaron said. "I had my crew, I had you. I had people who believed in the same thing." "Yes," said, "but you did not know if we would believe. You did not know if anyone would help. You stood anyway. That is why the galaxy changed." Years passed, decades passed. Aaron got older. Their hair turned white. Their faces got more lines, but they kept telling the story. They kept traveling. They kept showing people what was possible when humans chose to be good. Schools were named after the Pathfinder. Children learned the story before they learned anything else. They learned that it was better to stay than to run. They learned that one person could change everything. They learned that the choice to help was the most important choice they would ever make. The Pathfinder itself was brought to a museum, the small ship that had refused to run. It was preserved exactly as it was. The bridge where Aaron had made his decision, the medical bay where Lisa had saved life, the engineering room where had repaired ancient technology. Visitors from every species came to see it. They walked through the ship. They stood where Aaron had stood. They tried to imagine what it had been like, how scary it must have been, how brave it must have taken. And they understood. They understood why Aaron Morgan was called a hero, not because he had conquered anything, not because he had defeated anyone, but because he had simply done what was right. A human child asked her mother why the story was so important. Why did everyone know about Aaron Morgan? Why did every species care? The mother thought for a moment. Then she said, "Because he showed us that there is something bigger than fear. There is something bigger than logic. There is something bigger than winning, and that something is love. Love for people, love for life, love for doing what is right even when no one is watching." The child understood. Across the galaxy, other children were asking the same question, and getting the same answer. The story was spreading, generation after generation. The story of the captain who stayed, the story of the crew who refused to abandon, the story of the moment when the galaxy learned what it meant to be truly strong. Died first, she was very old. She was 130 years old. Humans could not live that long, but she was and were strong. At her funeral, Aaron stood and told the story one more time. He told it to thousands of people, thousands of creatures, thousands of species that had come to honor the woman who had taught them what compassion meant. "Came to my ship as a stranger," Aaron said. "She came to my ship because we saved her life. But she became much more than that. She became the bridge between our peoples. She became the symbol of what happens when you choose compassion instead of fear." Aaron died 3 years after. He died peacefully. He died knowing that the galaxy was better because he had made one choice, one simple choice to stay instead of run. His funeral was larger than every species came. Every government sent representatives. They came from every corner of the galaxy to say goodbye to the human who had changed everything. But the most important moment came when Cole spoke. Was very old now. He was 98 years old, but he was still strong, still clear, still remembering. "Aaron Morgan was my captain," said. "But he was more than that. He was my friend. He was a man who believed that every person had value. He was a man who would stand alone if that was what it took to do what was right. And because he was that man, the galaxy changed. Not because of weapons, not because of power, but because of one human's refusal to abandon a stranger." Looked out at the crowd. He looked at every species, every government, every person who had come to remember. "The message is simple," said. "When you have a choice between running and staying, between saving yourself and saving someone else, between the easy path and the right path, remember Aaron Morgan. Remember that one person can change the galaxy. Remember that compassion is strength. Remember that standing with someone, even when you are alone, is the most powerful thing you can do." The ceremony ended, but the story did not end. The story continued. In schools across the galaxy, children learned about the Pathfinder. They learned about Aaron Morgan. They learned that they could change the world, that they could make a difference, that they could choose compassion. And somewhere on a small planet called Earth, in a place called a museum, children looked at a picture of a small ship. A ship that had refused to run. A ship that had saved a life. A ship that had changed the galaxy. And they understood what it meant to be human. They understood that humans were not the strongest. They understood that humans were not the... They understood that humans were not the most advanced. But they understood that humans had something that no other species had. They had the will to stand with someone. They had the courage to choose compassion. They had the strength to be kind. And that was enough. That was more than enough. That was everything. Oh, things that are impossible. You do things that no one else would do, and you do them because you believe that it is right. Aaron reached up and took's hand. No, he said, this is what it means to be alive, to really be alive, to know that your life matters, to know that you matter, to know that someone will stand beside you no matter what. And understood. For 3,000 years, she had been alone. And now she was finally home. Pawns, we would have tried to force the coalition to listen, but you used something stronger. You used the truth about what you did. I only did what was right, Aaron said. I did not do it to change the galaxy. I did it because you were worth saving. But you changed the galaxy anyway, said. That is the real strength. Outside the Pathfinder, the fleet was still there. But they were not there to attack. They were there to protect. They were there to stand with humans, and slowly other ships started to arrive. Ships from other species, ships from people who wanted to know what was happening. People who wanted to stand with humans too. The message had done what Aaron never thought possible. It had united the galaxy. Not through force, through simple human compassion. She opened another radio channel. She spoke to all the ships, all 30 of them. My people, she said these humans are not our enemies. These humans are our honor. We will not attack. We will protect them. That is an order. And the soldiers lowered their weapons. For the first time in 3,000 years, humans and stood together. Stand and fight. Because that was what humans did. They did not abandon their own. Eaten by everyone, left to die on a dead planet. No one wanted to help her. No one wanted to save her. But Aaron had saved her. And now, as the warships got closer and closer, Aaron knew one thing for certain. He would not abandon her now. No matter what it cost,